Well, thank you all for coming out today. It's a beautiful day in Philadelphia to tour and see a demonstration of our newest green acre in Philadelphia, permeable paving testing facility disguised as an employee parking lot at the Southwest Wastewater Treatment Plant. I'd like to thank EPA and John Capacazza for partnering with us to test and monitor 6 different types of porous asphalt, porous concrete, and pavers to see how well they work and how well they stand up so that we can start installing these throughout the city for hit our goal of 10,000 green acres. We have a number of guests with us today that I will be introducing separately, but I do want to acknowledge that Mayor Nutter, Councilman Squilla, Councilman O, and EPA Deputy Administrator John Capacazza is here to join us today. I'd like to thank a number of people from the Water Department. We have a number of Water Department folks here. We have some members of our executive team, Joanne Dom, Deb McCarty, who heads up our operations, and Steve Furtek, our chief engineer and head of engineering. Mary Ellen Sense is here from the stormwater, from the Southwest Wastewater Plant Manager. Amy Liu and Jessica Brooks for the Office of Watersheds, who helped design and plan this, along with Peter Riley from the design group, Mel Robinson and Panel 11 from construction, and of course Laura Copeland, who helped put all this together. Thank you all for being here today. I'd first like to introduce, and needs no introduction, our great mayor, Mayor Nutter, who 6 years ago said that Philadelphia is going to be the greenest city in America, and might not be that every resident understands that, but as you go across the country, you find out that Philadelphia is at the lead of being a green city in America and has a great reputation, and that's really thanks to Mayor Nutter. Mayor.
Excellent. Howard, thank you. I would take more of that praise if it was actually due. But the fact of the matter is that we have that kind of distinction and recognition really because of Commissioner Newkrug, Howard Newkrug, and his leadership, and I also want to commend him and certainly Deb McCarty and Joanne Dom and all the folks here at the Philadelphia Water Department. So can we please give them a big, big round of applause? They're doing incredible work. Howard is constantly requested as a speaker to talk about some of the great programs and projects that Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Water Department are doing, and I'm going to mention a couple of them, but he and I have been on some panels together. We've been at some conferences together, and I know most recently he was out at the Clinton Global Initiative in Clinton Global International in Denver not too long ago because of, again, the great work that you all are doing. Thank, the 2 council members who are here with us, Councilman Squilla and Councilman O. Thank them for their continued support and leadership in these innovative projects. And I want to thank certainly the Director, Regional Water Protection Division of U.S. EPA, John Capacazza. Thank him for his presence here and the continued relationship with the EPA. I was with the Deputy Administrator last week. President Obama asked me to serve on his climate protection task force, and EPA critically important to that work, and so we were together just last week. I'm certainly proud to be here to announce this initiative. You're going to get a shorter one today. It is technically hot as hell out here. So that's the start of a series of videos that will be produced by the mayor's office, where they have captured over the past couple of years my saying that at these kinds of events, and they have a whole video of probably 20 different events where you just hear me keep saying it's really hot as hell out here. In any event, we're teamed, of course, again with the EPA after the groundbreaking nationally and internationally recognized agreement, cooperation agreement that we signed for Green City Clean Waters, and that initiative to help us with our greening and saving the city of Philadelphia. Green City Clean Waters is our 25-year plan to protect and enhance our local watersheds by managing stormwater with innovative green infrastructure. Managing urban stormwater is a major, major challenge for most American cities. You would not believe the number of conversations that go on across America, mayors, small, medium, and large cities talking about stormwater management and many of the issues that we're dealing with. And again, climate protection, climate change become increasingly a part of those conversations. Our plan, Green City Clean Waters, helps to address this issue. And this pilot for testing permeable surfaces, which we're announcing today, and the folks tell me that this kind of arrangement at a location with now 6 different types of surfaces may be the only one of its kind in the United States. And of course, if that's true, we should publicize that and get that word out. Permeable pavements allow rainwater to actually pass through the surface of the material rather than running over and over and over into gutters and streams and our rivers, creating further pollution challenges. Passing through the material is better because the rainwater is then stored in the subsurface stone beds as it gradually seeps into the ground. Of course, that would naturally happen if there were no paved surface at all. Think about rainwater hitting, grass or a field. The water, of course, slowly percolates into the water table as opposed to hitting hard surface, lays there, runs wherever it runs. Water has a way of, as they say, finding its own level, but it's going to go somewhere. And what we want to do is slow down that process. These surfaces, of course, decrease the risk of flooding during heavy rains and lowers the level of contaminants in our water because the stone bed and ground actually work as a natural filtering system. In order for our efforts to be sustainable, both fiscally and environmentally, we have to continue to develop innovative, cost-effective ways to manage stormwater runoff. And there's no use in developing green technology if we can't afford to actually implement it. These can be implemented, and this kind of innovation is what folks have come to expect out of the city of Philadelphia. It's a true innovation city. We've been doing it for a couple hundred years. I expect it'll go on for another couple hundred years because that's just what happens here in Philadelphia. And so when we talk about the cost of insulation, maintenance requirements, stability over time, we want to test these materials first in this kind of controlled environment that'll help the water department make the most informed and best choices for use out in our city streets and parking lots and other areas into the future. One last thing I want to do, take a moment to promote the fact that we do, in fact, have other innovations going on, whether it's solar panels at one of our plants, new turbines, the treatment plant that was converted not too long ago. You know that wonderfully great smell that you got when you came into Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, sisterly affection, and really bad smell coming over the Platte Bridge. And of course now you don't smell anything because all those smells have gone away, but the work still continues. One last thing, if you ever have the opportunity, make sure you continue to promote the water of the Philadelphia Water Department, rated some of the best in the United States of America. It's actually really good for you. Higher standards than any bottled water that you will find anywhere in the United States. It is good. It is the best that you can get anywhere, and other than your water bill, it's actually free. So enjoy it, and 3 cheers to the Water Department. Thanks.
I'd like Nick to next call up John Capacazza, who's been a really good friend and partner to the Water Department for very, very many years now. He's the director of the Water Division at EPA Region 3, which means the 5 states around the Mid-Atlantic, plus the District of Columbia. And he's responsible for the implementation and enforcement of the Clean Water Act and the Safe Drinking Water Act for us here in Philadelphia and the surrounding area. So welcome having John here with us.
Thanks, Howard and Mayor Nutter and members of council. It's great to have everyone here to celebrate another project where Philadelphia is showing the way nationally on the use of green techniques for both clean water and livable communities. So thank you for being here. I find it a little fun that all these important people were here for a dedication of a parking lot.
Yeah, we get excited about a lot of things.
But you get to realize how important that is because so many areas of the city are paved surfaces or hard surfaces, rooftops, streets, parking lots, and this is where we can make a difference with the green infrastructure. This is how we're changing the paradigm. They account for maybe 30 to 40% of the land area, the paved surfaces. So this is really important work that you're doing to show the way and how there's a different way of permeating water soaking up water into the ground. Rainwater that falls on paved surfaces does so with force and damages houses and streams, and we're trying to turn the tide and reverse that. Philly here is showing smart solutions for stormwater management that also benefit the community. Thanks again for the leadership of Mayor Nutter and Howard Newkrug and really all the departments of Philadelphia making these projects happen. As Howard said and the mayor said, all eyes really are on Philadelphia nationally. You are, again, leading the way in water protection and greening, so to speak. And we thank you for your leadership. We are pleased at EPA to be a partner in not only this project, but a number of projects. We did provide about $245,000 of Clean Water Act funding for this project, but that was really matched by a lot of local funding as well. As the mayor said a little bit over 2 years ago, our EPA administrator signed on to a partnership agreement to demonstrate the best greening techniques for the city as part of the Green Cities Clean Water Plan, and we're proud to be part of that partnership, and this project is one example of our working partnership. Earlier this year, EPA's Office of Research and Development announced a record $5 million funding commitment to universities in the area to really study green infrastructure, much like the work going on here. So these things dovetail very well. The more we can get science and data to demonstrate the effectiveness of these techniques, the better off the nation and Philadelphia will be. We're also pleased to have been a partner in the Soak It Up campaign. It's a national design competition for tapping the best ideas and talents of the private sector for greening our cities. And it was a tremendously successful design competition that is going to benefit the neighborhoods of Philadelphia. I really like the term "soak it up." It's such an easy term. It's a great term, and I think it helps us understand what's happening here. These porous pavements let rainwater soak up in the ground where it lands, much like the natural system, much like happens out there in the meadow. It means letting stormwater soak up into the soil and preventing it from getting contaminated by street debris, etc. It means soaking it up so the damaging effects of storms don't blow out and damage streams on their way downstream. And it also means soaking it up so severe flooding can be mitigated and damage to houses and businesses can be prevented. So it has really many benefits. And we're very excited about this project because we've seen a lot of progress under 40 years of the Clean Water Act. Our water quality has improved, our drinking water has improved, but these are the current challenges. Improving infrastructure, updating infrastructure. It's not a cheap proposition, but again, the city is showing the way and how we can be both green and cost effective in doing that. So let me just mention the linkage to climate change here a second. We know that greening infrastructure can help us lower energy costs and decrease emissions from power plants by easing the heat island effect. We all feel the heat today. We know where that's coming from. Paved surfaces are reflecting that. These types of techniques also reduce stormwater flows into sewer systems, which can reduce the energy demand of treatment. Water that enters a sewer has to be treated and dealt with again, so that we're minimizing that charge. And it's certainly protecting our drinking water sources, which if you're going to be a sustainable community, sustainable region, we need to maintain protection of our drinking water sources. So I'd just like to sum up here by applauding the mayor and his efforts. He's setting a new standard for sustainability and greening across the country that has been mentioned before. We thank you for your service on the President's Task Force for Climate Resilience. I just say in conclusion, EPA is pleased to be a partner not only in this project but the entire Green City Clean Water effort. We look forward to hearing the results coming from this project so we can share them with others not only across the city but nationally. And lastly, I'd just say, let it rain, but not today, because the city is getting more equipped to deal with it, and that's what sustainability is all about, recognizing the impacts of the past and being smarter about the solutions for the future. So thank you for being here, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, John Capacazza. One of the problems of introducing people at the beginning is that you start looking around, you see there are other people here you need to introduce. One is my Deputy Commissioner for Planning and Environmental Services, Chris Crockett, Thank you, Chris, for being here. And there's a lot of people here from the Southwest plant itself. Can you raise your hands, all those from Southwest? Thank you. Thank you. We're looking at a parking lot today. We're looking at Green Cities, Clean Waters programs, but it is really the work that happens here right behind us at the Southwest Wastewater Pollution Control Plant that really captures so much of the pollution of Philadelphia. And you guys are really the ones that are stopping the pollution from getting into the river and are doing tremendous things to bring back fish and tourism and bring back our waterfronts. So thank you all for being here and doing your job every day. Next to call up Councilman Squilla. Councilman was with us last week for groundbreaking of the Cardone Industry parking lot. 50 acres of stormwater taken off of our system. It's a tremendous effort, and the councilman now knows just about after today, and he gets his little tour, he'll know everything there is to know about parking lots and porous pavement in the city of Philadelphia. Councilman.
Thank you, Howard. And first, I'd like to thank Councilman Johnson for allowing me to come into his district to be here for this great occasion. Speaking to him, he's a big advocate of this and understanding the different types of equipment that we could have as a city of Philadelphia to share, not only because we're saving water from going into our streams, we'll also be able to help businesses, small businesses who have grounds that have water runoff charges that now can be mitigated by these types of work. So it's very important for us. So it's really a win-win for our systems, for our sewers, for our sustainability, and for greening the city of Philadelphia. And it's also helping the businesses to stay in Philadelphia, to produce jobs and grow our city. So this is a great opportunity for me to speak, and I'm proud to be here today to work with Howard and the great Philadelphia Water Department, because they get it. They understand it. They know when we have problems and we call there with issues, whether it's sewer backups, things like that, they're always there to help us. And the permeable materials that you see today is an example of how Philadelphia is willing to try and go out there and reach and then show people that these materials do work, and if they don't work, how we could tweak them to make them work. So they're really learning from us like they have in the past from the very beginning. Philadelphia is always at the front. So again, it's a great honor to be here with the mayor and the Water Commissioner Howard and everybody else to be here to celebrate this great occasion. And I'm really proud to say that Philadelphia is the leader in this and will continue to be the leader moving forward. So thank you very much and a pleasure.
Our final speaker today is Councilman O. Councilman O has also joined us for our ribbon cutting at the Synagro facility and has become a very strong supporter of the water department and our infrastructure and our green approaches to water management. Councilman O, would you like to come up?
Thank you very much, Mayor Nutter, Commissioner Newkrug, Deputy Administrator Capacasa, and Councilman Squilla. Let me first say that I think one of the toughest jobs I've ever come across is being mayor of a major city. You got to juggle balls. You got to juggle a lot of different balls. You got to keep them juggling, and you can't let any of them drop. And it's a tough job. And some people may not appreciate what is happening today, but I would like to say that I tremendously appreciate what the mayor's done. He's come into office, and this was one of the hallmarks of his election and his administration, making Philadelphia one of the greenest cities in America, and we hope in the world. In some places, we're a little behind the world. In some places, we're leading the nation. But today is a very significant day because we're really testing for what are the unique characteristics of Philadelphia's soil and topography, what will, what won't work, and how we're going to begin to address this problem. And of course, with Commissioner Newkrug, this is all great technology put into place by Philadelphia city employees who are really at the forefront of technology here in a city that is experiencing a rebirth around technology and innovation. People living together is great. One of the problems is the byproduct of people living together is they consume a lot of energy, produce a lot of waste that leads to a lot of illness and other things, and the quality of life deteriorates. But here we have a real effort to not only allow people to live together, but enjoy everything in the environment and to benefit from the intelligent innovation that people bring when they live together so that we can avoid health risks and other problems and attract a lot of people, a lot of productive people to our city who want to improve their own quality of life and in doing so improve our quality of life by living with us and contributing together. So let me thank everyone, especially the mayor, for his leadership with this, and we certainly look forward to how this is going to be implemented. Thank you.